Legends, welcome along to a brand new video here on Here's Others Reviews. We're doing He-Man and the Masters of the Universe one more time. This episode is ORKO'S favourite uncle, and these episodes usually I always think they're going to be very hit and miss when it comes to the episodes of ORKO'S uncle on there, but they always tend to prove me wrong. Like, I'm thinking, this isn't going to be a great episode because it's just going to be ORKO and this other similar creature, and they always end up in flipping fantastic episodes, and this here was no disappointment either. In this one there is an evil sorcerer, Tauron, who is planning on full domination of Eternia, and he's using his magic to, bring extra magical powers that he can use, can take control of, and mind control them and to helping him achieve his ends. And ORKO'S uncle is one of them, Montarch. This is ORKO'S uncle. My words aren't great this morning, sorry guys. But he casts a spell at the beginning of the episode and brings Montarch along with Montarch's pet, and it's like a creature, like, if you looked at it from outward appearance, looks terrifying, but it's the softest, cuddliest, friendliest creature in the face of the planet. But when this sorcerer gets the two of them there, Tauron, and puts them under his spell, they both become 100% evil. This creature turns nasty along with ORKO'S uncle, and the fight in this episode between the forces of good and evil in this one is going to be a really difficult one to fight, because it's one thing to be fighting against the likes of Skeletor and Evil and Beastman, all those guys who are genuinely evil people, but someone that's at his core a good being like ORKO'S uncle. It's like, what can He-Man do really against this person without actually really hurting him? It's just, the sorcerer is incredibly smart in what he's doing in this episode as far as his plans go. The action in this is great. When Tauron sends ORKO'S uncle to Castle Grayskull, it's the seat of power in Eternia, and he sets them up against the sorceress, and his power, his magic is more than a match for her at the end of this episode. And everything seems lost. ORKO and Battlecat, they're sent after Tauron to try and get the amulet off him. The amulet is what's controlling ORKO'S uncle and his pet, and they manage to get it. But when they transport themselves to Castle Grayskull, they actually bring Tauron with them as well. ORKO has the unfortunate habit of, he's a magician on his home planet, very, very strong magician, and but on Eternia his powers aren't as strong as they can be or should be, and like a lot of his spells mess up, and he accidentally brings a sorcerer to Castle Grayskull as well. So at the end of the episode we kind of have the whole standoff thing happening, and Battlecat has the sorcerer pinned against a wall. They have kind of broken the spell to a certain extent. The longer the spell goes, the weaker it gets, and ORKO'S destroyed a lot of the magic books and everything that the sorcerer has at this point, and his powers are starting to weaken. So the last two people standing essentially at the end of this episode are Orko and Orko's uncle, and Orko's uncle has regained the sorcerer's amulet, and if he can return it to the sorcerer, he's going to get his full strength back, and he'll be able to, continue on his mission of domination. But Orko gets between the two of them and pretty much talks his uncle down. Earlier in the episode, his uncle had told him that, there's more things in life than magic. That's kind of their bond. Orko's uncle had taught him all the magic in the first place, and Orko's always glad to see him because you can teach me more tricks and whatnot. And he's like, there's more to life than magic. And Orko brings this back up to him at the end of the episode while he's still under this magic spell, and he manages to actually, through the power of love once again, this is her running thing whenever Orko's uncle comes in there, it's always the family bond that gets him to the end of the episode. And there's no difference here. It's like the power of love essentially breaks the spell. And at the end, Orko wants his uncle to stay, but now that the spell has been broken, and it was the magic of Tauron that brought them to Eternia in the first place, that everything's kind of resetting, and he can feel the pull of the other dimension taking him back home again. And he's like, the most magical thing on the face of the planet is to be alive, Orko. Make the most of it. It's that there. It's just enjoy life. You might miss me as an uncle, but we have our connection, but you're alive, and that's what really counts at the end of the day. That's the most magical thing ever. And the PSA at the end of this episode pretty much just echoes that sentiment. No matter what you're going through, what life throws at you, the most magical thing is the fact that you wake up every morning, you're breathing in and breathing out, and you should make the most of every second that you have, because once it's gone, it's never going to come back again. So I absolutely love this episode, and I probably didn't do it justice in this review whatsoever. There's a heck of a lot of stuff in there that I don't want to destroy episodes completely for you whenever I'm making these videos. My aim really is to give you a little bit of a taster to actually go and check these out yourself, and I don't think you'll be disappointed with this one. But as I said before, you tend to, when you're watching these episodes, you're always looking forward to the confrontations between He-Man and Skeletor, the two main characters in the universe. And whenever you see Orko's uncle in the title, you're thinking to yourself, oh gosh, this is going to be a wee standalone episode. It's just going to be all, I don't know, it's just not going to be as good as you think it's going to be. But as I said, they are actually a genuine treat. And so far, any of the episodes that had Orko's uncle in there have been gold dust, and this one here, though not as strong as some of the past ones, is very, very good. And that message alone, that little piece of motivation and inspiration to actually just take life for what it is and enjoy every second of it, is awesome. It's really, really what people need to be hearing these days, more so than when this show originally came out. It's absolutely timeless.